Citi
News.
Hello, it's midday. Welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 FM. We are live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Morton Loop here in Adabaka in Accra. We're also live on all our partner stations across the country and around the world. We are live on citynewsroom.com. If you are listening to us via the Western region, you are live on Adrimpa 100.1 FM in Takwa on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. In the Bono region, we are live on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we are live on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi. Also in Kumasi, we are live on Orange 107.9 FM. In the Volta region, you are live on Revival 99.3 FM or VOV Radio 95.7 FM in Hohoi. In the northern region, we are live on Radio Bimbala. In the Upper East region, we are live on Quality FM. And in the Upper West region, we are live on Tungzang FM as well as Chirapa FM on 96.1 FM. Coming up in today's edition of Citi Prime News. Parents troop to vaccination centers across the country to immunize their children after months of shortage of vaccines.
From the news, I picked signals that RCH here, they have started. I quickly rushed in here with her. Unfortunately for us, she just took her jab of the immunization.
Still to come, government expected to commence payment of matured bonds from Thursday. Still in the bulletin.
Since the toll was closed down, in fact, things has not been working. Things has been going wrongly, badly.
Mixed reactions greet government's move to increase road tolls as it moves to reintroduce them. And later,
like I earlier said, we need to carry out the structural assessments to determine whether that building standing there really has to be demolished.
MP for Ladare Kotopon calls for structural assessment of abandoned 17-story building at the La Beach. We have all that and more on Citi Prime News, which is live on all our affiliates stations as well as on citynewsroom.com.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
My name is Vivian Kai Lokko. This afternoon, I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
We'll start with the story to do with vaccines and some nursing mothers in the northern region who turned up for weighing on Tuesday have expressed excitement over the availability of vaccines at health centers after a long period of shortage. A visit to some health facilities in Tamale and Sagnerugu areas saw mothers in queues waiting to have their babies vaccinated. Now, some of the mothers who spoke to Citi News urged the government to ensure a regular supply of vaccines for immunization.
Yaya Abdullahi, I actually came for measles immunization with my baby, Pakama Zainab. She was supposed to do it when she was 9 months old, but because of the shortage, we couldn't. No, she actually took her routine immunization at TTH. Like I said, because of the shortage, we couldn't. But just this morning, from the news, I picked signals that RCH here, they have started. So I quickly rushed in here with her. Unfortunately for us, she just took her jab of the immunization. And we are very grateful.
When she was born, we were supposed to come here for this years. So when we called to verify, they said the vaccine was not around. So we waited and called today, and they said it is they have gotten it. That's why we are here. And as you can see, she has been vaccinated. Yes.
I mean, you should try and provide us the vaccine. You know, when they give you the prescribed date for you to come and inject and it's not there, we the mothers, we are always worried. So I appeal to the government to do something about it for us.
So those were some parents, two fathers speaking, as well as the mother to our reporter in the northern region, Dinah Ngwan, following government's moves to dispatch some vaccines across the region. Let's stay with the northern region and speak to Dinah further on this issue. Dinah, if you can hear me, welcome to City Prime News.
Thank you, Vivian.
So I'm sure it's a bit of excitement this afternoon from the morning after parents started getting the shots for their children for the vaccination.
Exactly so. The parents who visited the facility for vaccination today were actually excited. And I can say for now, about 12 districts have picked up their vaccines from the regional medical store. So we are expecting that by close of day, all the districts would have received their vaccines. And at the various health centers here at the Tamale Metro and then Scenario, I mean, some of them have days for weighing, so some will start theirs tomorrow. So those who have theirs today, we visited there and we saw hundreds of mothers and fathers queue to have their babies vaccinated at long that they are excited about it. And like the mother said, they urge government to ensure that there's supply of vaccines at all times.
Now, what are the health officials doing to deal with the pressure that is coming with the huge numbers that are turning up?
Yes, so the in charge at one of the facilities told me for them it's a regular thing for them because they are in the Tamale metropolis. So they see these numbers and they even expressed here that these vaccines they even receive will not last for even 2 weeks. But with those at the other communities like the rural areas, they don't see much of these numbers. So they are able to manage it. And this is not a mass campaign, so it's only mothers who turn up for weighing. And with this, most mothers are not even aware. So one lady told me she will have to call her other friends in the communities to come in for the vaccination.
Now, what are plans to deal with the next consignment? Because if they feel this will last only for 2 weeks, and of course, we know the numbers will continue to increase because people are now getting aware that the vaccines are then in. What have they heard from their superiors over the next dispatch to ensure that by the 2 weeks when this is done, they still have the consignment to sort out the women who will come for this?
Yes, so for now, they are unable to tell what will happen in the coming weeks in case they run short of these vaccines because what they have, they were told it will last for 6 weeks. And they even doubt with the current pressure, they doubt it will meet that time. And so they are just hoping. But at the regional level, they are yet to engage the media. We understand they plan to tell us how they will handle this vaccination. But my sources at the directory told me that this will not be a mass campaign because the vaccines they have received it's limited. So and so the country gets enough supply. They cannot embark on a mass vaccine immunization campaign currently, and they will just do go with the regular routine vaccines at the various health centers
Now,
for
a
now.
few weeks back, you broke news of some children, getting measles in the region. What's the latest to that? And then, us having some vaccines coming on board, can you fill us in on the latest with regards to that story?
Yes, so there are still cases of measles at some health centers. And my understanding is that with these babies who are already infected, they will not take the vaccine until they are healed. And so for now, they will manage the cases like they've been doing until they recover. Then they will now consider them when it became a mass vaccination of babies.
Thank you very much, Dinah. One, do keep an eye on this developing story. I'm grateful for your time. From the northern region, let's come down south and come to the Greater Accra region and see what the situation is with the vaccines. Now, vaccination for children has also begun in various health facilities in the Greater Accra region. Now, on Monday, the Greater Accra Regional Health Directorate made the vaccines available to municipal health officers to distribute in health facilities within their jurisdiction to begin the vaccination. Now, the vaccines include the BCG, the OPV, polio, and measles vaccines. Currently, we're told by our reporter that mothers are trooping into the hospitals to also get the jabs for their wards. Now, some of them have been speaking to City News. So let's go to Akosia Otre. She is at one of the hospitals to give us more on that. Akosia, if you can hear me, welcome to City Prime News.
Thank you, Vivian.
Which hospital are you and what does it look like? The numbers, the posturing and all that from mothers.
So I am at the Adabaka Polyclinic as we speak. Yesterday we got here and we realized that mothers weren't really here to get the vaccines because, of course, now that the Greater Accra Regional Health Directorate was distributing the vaccines to the various health and municipal assemblies. And so today, I'm sure that they got the information. And so some of them are trooping in gradually to get their babies vaccinated. Earlier, before I got here, I was given information by some of my sources from the Greater Accra Health Directorate that at least 90% of the health facilities in the Greater Accra region have come for their vaccines. And so that's exactly what's happening. Various hospitals are currently getting the children vaccinated. I am currently also going to the polyclinic where I'm told that the vaccination is ongoing gradually.
Well, what does the numbers look like and what are the mothers saying after waiting for months to get their children immunized?
Well, Vivian, I'm sure that every mother, when you are delivered of a baby, you have a number of weeks that it is expected that you go and get your children vaccinated. And so these mothers, I'm sure, out there, having heard of the news that the vaccines have arrived, are taking note of the dates when they are supposed to get their children to the hospital to get them vaccinated. And so a number of them have come in today. I could count about 15 mothers, and I'm told that earlier in the day, as early as 7 a.m., 8 a.m., the mothers came in to get the jobs for their wards. And so as and when the days go by, they would come in gradually to get the vaccine. Now, they have been interacting with me, and they tell me that they're excited because they had to go through hell to get the vaccine for their children, especially having to go to different facilities in a day, trying to see if this hospital doesn't have, the others will have. And so it's an exciting news that they've gotten the vaccines available, and they are hoping that the government, spearheaded by the Ghana Health Service, will be able to bring in more so they can be able to use them as and when they need.
Akosia, thank you very much for your time. Our reporter in the Greater Accra region looking at how the vaccination of children is going after government released some amount to get children across the country vaccinated. Let's wrap up with the Ashanti region. Our bureau chief for the Middle Belt is Edward Oponma, who joins us via telephone to also give us the latest on this. Edward, welcome to City Prime News.
Thank you, Vivian.
What can you tell us from the Ashanti region? Have they also started immunization or they are now receiving the doses?
As of Vivian, what I can confirm is that all the facilities that we have been to in the Ashanti region, indeed, they have received the vaccines and they have started giving out these vaccines to the babies. And so they are administering the vaccine. We've been to a number of areas and there's more of excitement. As I speak to you right now, I am at the Sintreso Government Hospital, and a number of nursing mothers who have come to this area and they are being served. And so for them, it's about being served and how excited they are. I've also been to other facilities, the Kumasi South and other areas such as the Menchia District Hospital. All these facilities are also serving the nursing mothers who are around, and it's been okay for them so far. And the main issue is that some of the health professionals are telling us that there are some vaccines that they do not have enough, and so they are just hopeful that perhaps by the time that these vaccines run out in their facilities, the authorities will be able to provide more for them. And so that's the main concern. But as we speak now, with a number of people who are trooping into the various facilities, they are being served and everything is going on smoothly.
What kind of numbers are you seeing? Manageable?
Yes, for the public health nurses who are around, they are saying that it's just like the usual ones. They usually would be weighing that Mondays and Tuesdays are some of the days that they expect more. So for these facilities, they feel they are okay. Just that it's a bit higher than the usual ones. And already they have the contact. So they have also informed some of them not to rush in coming because they're saying they have available ones, that there are enough vaccines that will be able to serve them. So they shouldn't rush in coming here to join long queues. So the queues are not too short, but according to the officials here, they're a bit beyond the usual ones that they used to experience.
Now, Eddie, earlier you spoke to authorities at the Menchia District Hospital over that baby that was infected with measles due to the shortage of vaccines. We're told that that baby has now recovered. And also, the authorities over there spoke to you on other things with regards to the vaccine. Let's take a listen and then I come back to you.
Okay, concerning the positive measles case, the child has recovered. She's fit, and even when we went to the house, she was playing and everything was fine. With the exception of the dark spot on the skin. When you get rashes and you treat it, there will be some dark spot on it. So aside the dark spot, everything was fine. The child was very fit. She has recovered.
And with the new vaccines you received, what was the state now? Are they enough to serve the people here?
Yes, I won't say they are plenty, but I think the one we have now is you can manage for some time. I'm sure they will add more because they don't know the number of people who have let me say who needed vaccine. So they gave us some few ones to use it for now. Then later you add up. So, we still have some at the original code room. So in case there is shortage, then you go there to pick some.
So with what you have in your facility, how many babies can they serve the vaccines?
Okay. For yellow fever, I can say 200. They gave us 200 doses, which is for 200 children. Yes.
Measles?
Measles, we have 2 boxes, which is 1,000. We have 1,000 doses for measles.
So that's Darius Ajay Bafo, is the disease control officer of the Menchia District Hospital in the Ashanti region. Now, Edward has also been speaking to some nursing mothers who visited health facilities in the region. They expressed excitement over the arrival of the vaccines, but urge authorities to put measures in place to prevent another shortage. Now, one of the mothers who spoke to Edward is Aisha Issa.
I'm excited that the vaccines are in now. But initially, we come and they will say the vaccines, there is no vaccines. But now I'm excited and I'm happy that the vaccines are in now. And then I wish authorities they shouldn't be shortage of vaccines like that anymore. I wanted maybe anytime like the vaccine should be available.
Okay, so you want them to put measures in place?
Yes, measures in place so that anytime the vaccines should be available for the mothers to take their injections because it's very good for the children and it helps in curing diseases, it says childhood diseases for us. So I wish the authorities should put measures on it so that anytime the thing should be available for the children.
Were you at a point afraid? Were you having fears that, well, your baby could be affected in any way?
Yeah, somehow. But, for this sex killer diseases. Actually, if they inject the children, it's minimize it and then prevent the children from those things. But I was not that afraid, but somehow I was scared that something will happen. But right now the vaccines are in, we are happy about it.
So that's Aisha Issa. She's a mother in Kumasi. Edward, you're still there, aren't you?
Yes, I am here at St. Teresa Government Hospital. I've moved from the Malaysia District Hospital.
Okay. What's that there? The same development over there?
Yes, same development over here. So many of the mothers are around at the moment, and they are seeking to take their turns so that they take their babies to be given the required vaccines. And they are basically, the numbers are not as huge as initially some people envisaged, but what some of the officials are saying was, well, these numbers too are a bit higher than they were expecting. So it's just more of excitement for them. They are here just hoping that it's at least once it's time for them to also get the next vaccine. You see, these are in stages. Depending on the month that the baby gets to, that's where they take the next one. So they are hoping that by the time that it gets to the next stage, they will have all the vaccines available. And so for today in particular, those who are taking the yellow fever, those taking the measles and are 9 months, they are excited. And there was one parent that I spoke to, and that's the nursing mother I spoke to. She says that the baby is now 11 months, but they were supposed to have taken the yellow fever and the measles one around 9 months, but because the vaccines were not available, around the 9th month they came, they didn't get it. Around the 10th month they came, they also didn't get it. And now, because they heard about it, they're rushing to come around and just ensure that everything goes on smoothly for them.
All right, thank you very much, Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opoma, for giving us an extensive report from the Ashanti region on the situation to do with vaccines. We'll take you to the Volta region, give you an update on cases to do with measles because of the absence of vaccines. Hawa?
The Ketu South municipality of the Volta region has recorded 10 cases of measles over the past 3 months. Speaking to Citi News, Volta Regional Health Director Dr. Senanu Jokoto said, although the region has also suffered from the shortage of the vaccines, this cannot be attributed to the cases of childhood diseases recorded in the region. He, however, noted that the region has received its share of the vaccines which arrived on Sunday, and distribution has started across the over 500 health facilities across the region.
The Volta region was also affected by the reported shortages in vaccines for childhood illnesses, the 13 vaccine-preventable diseases. But over the weekend, as soon as some of the vaccines touched base on the tarmac in Accra, we were directed by the Director General of the Ghana Health Service to ensure that our cold vans are at hand to pick the vaccines and send to the rest of the districts in the Volta region for distribution. That has been ongoing since Sunday, and we are hoping that by close of day, the over 500 facilities within the region would have the full complement of childhood vaccinations in order to ensure uninterrupted service delivery to our children. Over the period, we have had sporadic measles outbreaks, and some before this year. But for this year, from January to date, we have recorded 6 of such cases. We have responded appropriately. All the children are doing very well. They fully recovered.
That was the Volta Regional Health Director, Dr. Senanu Jokoto.
This is Citi Prime News. We are coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Morton Loop, here in Adabraka, in Accra. My name is Vivian Kai Lokko. This afternoon, I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
Still to come, government expected to commence payment of matured bonds from Thursday. Do stay with us. We'll bring you that story and reactions from other stakeholders.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Keys. What could be simpler than a key? Who doesn't have a key? A car key, an office key, a drawer key. But there's one key that rules them all. The house key. The key to a place we call home. The key to the home where everything comes together. The key to a home that is our own. A home where we make life happen with our families and loved ones. Adoha has been working hard for over 30 years to make home ownership within reach for many. Say yes to property with Adoha. Your dream home is one call away. Your dream home is a few clicks away. Visit our Accra project, The Place, by calling 030-2789-757.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
So welcome back to Citi Prime News. My name is Vivian Kai Lokko. I'm here with Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. We move to the story to do with domestic investors and the payment of maturities of bonds. And the Ministry of Finance has assured that domestic investors who did not tender their bills for new ones under the government's domestic debt exchange program should expect to receive their matured coupons in 48 hours. According to the ministry, the payment processes commenced yesterday. Now, government failed to honor bonds which have matured since February 6, 2023, with explanation that it needed some time to sort out administrative issues resulting from the settlement of new bonds under the DDP. Now, there's a statement from the Coalition of Individual Bondholder Groups, and I'm going to take you through that statement. And the statement, which was signed by Dr. Joel Akwete, who is the convener for the group, is titled Joint Press Release, Domestic Debt Exchange Program, and then it says updates. Now it says, 1, reference is made to the press release from the Ministry of Finance dated February 14, 2023, which states as follows in Clause 3, the government would like to reassure all individual bondholders who elected not to participate that your coupon payments and maturing principals, like all government bonds, will be honored in line with government fiscal commitments. Secondly, reference is also made to the press release from the Ministry of Finance dated 27 February 2023, which states as follows in Clause 2, in fulfillment of the assurance given by the government to bondholders who did not tender, the ministry is taking administrative steps to ensure that payments of coupons and principals of old bonds resume by 13th March 2023. Now, 3, reference is made to the Securities Industry Act 2016, Act 929, Part 1, Section 2, which states, quote, the object of the Commission is to regulate and promote the growth and development of an efficient, fair, and transparent securities market in which investors and the integrity of the market are protected. 4, we also refer to the Securities and Exchange Regulations 2003 LI 1728 Section 61, which states, quote, an issuer that has its securities listed on a stock exchange shall comply with the disclosure requirements of that stock exchange, unquote. Now, Regulations 51(2) of the Ghana Fixed Income Market Regulations states as follows, quote, an issuer of admitted securities shall maintain high standards of disclosure, fully disclose to the public the information necessary to make informed investment decisions. C, secure the immediate release of information which may be reasonably expected to have a material effect on the market activity and price of its admitted securities. D, ensure the maintenance of a fair and orderly market in its securities. And E, ensure that all investors have simultaneously and equal access to the same information. Now, the 6th point made by the bondholders says at the close of business on 13th March 2023, the Ministry of Finance, led by the Honorable Ken Oforiatta, has disregarded all the basic rules that have been established to protect the integrity of the local markets and maintain sovereign credibility for Ghana. It is most unfortunate that the ministry continues to have absolute disregard for its creditors, in this case, individual bondholders, despite prior meetings held in which we stated the need for communication. Now, the 7th point from the bondholders group is the coupon and principal payments due to individual bondholders who opted out of the voluntary domestic debt exchange program have not been paid, despite written press releases confirming the resumption of payments on 13th March 2023. Number 8, the umbrella regulator of the securities markets, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission Ghana, charged with a mandate to protect investors and make integrity and market integrity have also maintained a loud silence throughout this period on the plight of individual bonders. Number 9, the Ghana fixed income market of the Ghana Stock Exchange, where the old government of Ghana bonds are listed and traded, has also not enforced its basic rules of disclosure required by issuers. More loud silence. The 10th point from the bondholder group says the little confidence remaining in the markets as a result of assurances from the Ministry of Finance is fading away under the full watch of the very institutions set up to protect it. Number 11, individual bondholders, as was the case in the aftermath of the DDEP announcement, have been left to fight for themselves as the government creates a full default on its obligations. Fight we will. Now it says number 12, which is one of its key points, says we are given a 48-hour ultimatum to the minister or the Ministry of Finance to honor its word to pay all matured principal and outstanding coupons due on the existing bonds issued by the government of Ghana. Number 13, it says we call on the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Ghana Stock Exchange to enforce the full disclosure required by all issuers, including the government of Ghana. And finally, it says we will fight to ensure the full payment of our monies and the preservation of our securities markets for the future generation. And it says notice is duly served. We go over to the phone lines and speak to Senor Osi, is the convener of the individual bondholders. Senor, welcome to Citi Prime News.
Thank you very much, Vivian, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Good afternoon to you. We've read your 15 points from your statement on basically you not being happy with government's delay in paying what is due you on your investments. You're giving them a 48-hour ultimatum. You think they'll yield to this ultimatum?
I don't think it's a matter of whether they would yield to. They know what to do. We are rather very worried about what we are doing with our financial markets. We are gradually destroying our financial market and leaving very little for it. The actors of the sector must be responsible. They have a mandate, a fiduciary responsibility to us as people and to the state. We can't destroy the reputation of our country simply because we are employed for a short period and after our politics we walk away and leave generations yet unborn and ask who are their people to continue to suffer the remnants of their ill behavior and ill management of these actors of state. And respectfully, I unfortunately have to call out the Security and Exchange Commission and the Ghana Stock Exchange, who are led by very experienced people in the sector. Somehow, politics erodes people's commitment and reason to professionalism and that which is in the interest of the country. That must stop. The Reverend Obama Tete is no mean feature in this industry, someone we all look up to. But look at what the SEC has done. There's a continuous breach by the ministry, no action. Abuna is not a mean personality as far as our security sector is concerned. She has the stock exchange, and they sit aloof while we destroy the integrity and the credibility of these markets. And at the same time, we turn around and say our financial markets are not growing. When you go to the Security and Exchange Commission today, look at the signage protecting investors. investment. So they are protecting us. Where is the act of protection in this journey so far? The Ministry of Finance has clearly breached. It knows what it has to do. It is okay to sometimes have challenges in finance, but what is required of you is to give clear disclosure. At our last meeting with the Minister of Finance, we told him, we know you may have challenges from time to time, but you have to manage market expectations. He promised to start paying from the 13th. Today is the 14th. No payment has been made. Not a single word has been officially shared. What do you take Ghanaians for? And what do you take the entire financial market for? This is going to crash the credit rating of the market, of our country. It's going to crash the credibility of our government and the governance frame in the financial markets, not just locally, but internationally as well. Where is the honor? Where is the honorableness in the offices that are writing and signing up these commitments? How will people take our word to be our bond as a country going forward?
Now, the finance ministry, it says they've begun processes to start payments. Hopefully, by Thursday, these payments will start trickling
in. Vivian, it's good news. We have not been informed. Have you seen any circular to really support what you just said? This is a financial market. We don't do it on rumors. We don't do it, or we don't share information by just hearsays and whispers. There's official communication. You read the SEC Act. You read our references to the Ghana Stock Exchange regulations and the requirements for disclosure, requirements for sharing information. Have you seen any of it delivered? Our finance minister understands our market. Our SEC head understands our market. Our stock exchange head understands our market. Why they will act so recklessly and irresponsibly leaves me bemused. I'm confused. I would expect it from another set of regulators, but not people that some of us read about in school, people that we listen to and look up to. I don't know if politics erodes our brains. This can't continue. We must do things reasonably and properly. We need to protect our country. We need to be able to leave for generations yet to born a financial system that is respected and viable. If a finance minister can see something and totally disregard it, the SEC has a mandate and totally disregards it, where is the strength in the institutions to encourage?
What do you think is leading to the long silence of the Securities and Exchange Commission as well as the Ghana Stock Exchange?
I think that our regulator has lost his sense of independence and responsibility. It's unfortunate I have to say it. It's unfortunate I have to say it. And they can go after me in different ways if they are free to do it. But if they are honest to themselves, wake up every morning on Sundays, go to church and preach, sit down and listen to preaching, they should be honest to themselves and rather be apologizing to the people for their failing. How can you be so silent? Not a single communication from SEC, not even a single call to even those who are interested parties. Why there's a breach? Look, we identified there's a breach. But gentlemen, we are engaging government to make sure the right things are done. Nothing. Nothing, my sister, nothing. What Ghana is this? Are we creating a banana republic? What is it? What we are doing now, we are actually creating a banana republic out of our financial sector.
Then could the reality be that
is too much?
Could the reality be that the government itself is struggling to honor these obligations, like we all know, and it may it may want to move away from always promising and not fulfilling?
No. You see, when you make promises, you can honor them. You've heard that the issue stuff, and you are telling us that maybe by Thursday or maybe by close of day, by Wednesday. Why wasn't that communication released well in time? What are we teaching people by our example as leaders of our country? That when you owe, you become reckless, you don't care, you don't even engage your creditors. You don't do that. It's one, illegal. It's a breach of the regulations. 2, it is immoral. 3, you have a reputation as leaders in your person. Before you start even talking party politics, a lot of these people come into this job with their personal reputation. Obama Tate comes into this job with his personal reputation. Paul Ababio comes into this with his personal reputation. Abna comes with her personal reputation. Ken Oforiata comes with his personal reputation, and it's an enormous reputation. You don't dissipate it regardless this way. What are you doing to generations unborn? What examples, what story are you telling for us as a country?
Right.
When you're out of office, what is Ghana going to be left with when you denigrate its reputation and its credibility in the financial market this week? We, and I, be the ones who still have to pay for it. And we must call this out and stop it.
Right.
It cannot continue.
Yes, Senor. You've given them 48 hours to clean this mess up. What will you do when after the 48 hours, what you're asking for is not done?
The options are enormous. There are legal options, there are social options. We will occupy everywhere that has to be occupied. Because you can't be taking Ghanaian people's salary. You can't be running the mandate that Ghanaians put in you and do so recklessly and destroy the reputation of the country. Because if a minister and a regulator say things and then nobody walks, they don't walk their talk. What have we said? How will people be able to bank on that? If the regulator who has a mandate and fails to exercise it, how can people giving trust to come and invest on our market? It's a joke.
So socially, we'll see you picketing at the ministry and hitting the streets like the pensioners did.
Let's get it clear. Everything's on the table, including getting Parliament to act, because we are destroying the credibility of our institutions. That is what they should all realize. We're also destroying the credibility of our country. Vivian, it is our country. The pledge tells us what? We should defend the good name of our country. This act by these officers, are they defending the good name of our country? And what is it will be left for us when they are gone and decide to go and live anywhere else in the world? We will be here. Ghanaians cannot continue to take this kind of recklessness and unfortunate behavior from officers of state. We must stop it. It will cost us in the long term. Some of us have investments that are enduring. And we must make sure that this country works. We have no choice. We are not Americans. We are not Ghanaians. We are not Ghanaians giving birth to Americans. We are Ghanaians giving birth to Ghanaians. We need to protect our country.
Right. Thank you very much, Senor Osi. He's a convener of the individual bondholders. Where the clock starts ticking now. We'll come back to you in 48 hours to see how this pans out and your next line of action. But thank you so much for your time. We'll move to some other stories. How?
The Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, says it is hoping to raise about 5 billion cedis in revenue from its intended revenue mobilization, which is expected to begin from Monday, March 20 to April 20 across the country. The exercise, which will be carried out nationwide, will focus on all categories of customers in arrears, including state-owned enterprises, and will be monitored by special teams from the Power Distribution Company. According to the ECG, its head office, regional and district offices will be temporarily closed during the period, except for customer service centers, to allow top management of the utility company partake in the month-long exercise. The manager external communications at the ECG, Leila Abubakari, has been speaking to Citi News on the exercise.
We are embarking on this revenue mobilization because ECG is being owed a lot, especially in the past few months where we've encountered some problems with our system. So we have a lot of money locked up. And so we are trying as much as possible to encourage our customers to pay their bills, especially those who are postpaid. For the prepaid, we don't have any problem because as it is, you buy and then we get our money. But for those who are postpaid and from the special load tariff company, they have to pay some bills. So we are being very proactive, and we've requested that the top management walk the talk. So we are closing down our head office and most of our regional offices so that the general managers, the directors, and the managers can physically go and collect the money from these people who owe us. We know that there's been an issue where sometimes state-owned enterprises take their time in paying some of their bills. And so this time we are hoping that when they see some of our directors, our managing director, our general manager, they will know how serious we are, because we have to collect the money to be able to help in the whole agenda for recovering the economy. And so if these monies remain with these people, it will be a problem generally for the whole expenditure that we have for the year. It's important that we be proactive and actually physically visit these enterprises and companies and homes and people who owe us, collect our money.
So how much is the ECG looking at getting at the end of the month-long period where this exercise is going to be undertaken?
We are being owed about 5 billion Ghana cedis. 5 billion Ghana cedis. And we are looking at 100% collection. That is the target. The MD has set his target so high because the board is tasking him to collect all the money in 30 days. And so our target is 100%. So we're hoping that by the end of the exercise, which is going to be on the 20th of April, we would have collected 5 billion or even more.
Leila Abubakari is Manager External Communications at the Electricity Company of Ghana. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union GPRTU has described as unfortunate government lack of engagement with them before the announcement of the proposed increment in road tolls this year. The increment forms part of government intention to restart collecting tolls on some roads. Per the proposed increment, motorbikes will be expected to pay 50 pesos, while saloon cars will be paying 1 cedi. Heavy and medium goods trucks will be expected to pay 3 cedis each. Speaking to Citi News, the Industrial Relations Officer of the GPRTU, Abbas Moro, says even though the union is not against the increment, they have concerns which need to be addressed.
We are most people who use the road. I'm not saying those who have private cars doesn't use the road, but we are stakeholders. And we felt we should be consulted for our input because we have some grievances about how many times we've been paying on using the roads. For example, if you ply your route from Kaswa to Accra or from Abure to Accra, the shortest distances, and you have to maybe have about 5 trips, meaning you pay 10 times. You can imagine it, and this doesn't come from the sales you are going to make to the car owner or whichever transport organization you belong to. But it's going to come from the pocket of the driver. So this and some other things are the reason why we thought we should be consulted for our input. In any case, the price itself is not anything too big that we will be crying about it.
Abbas Imoro is the Industrial Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Now, President Akufo-Addo is confident the country's economy will bounce back from its current difficulties. Nana Akufo-Addo says measures put in place by his government will revive the economy and bring some relief to the public. Speaking at the commissioning of a new processing factory of GB Food, Nana Akufo-Addo says all must help to bring the economy back.
When we assumed office in 2017, my government put in place measures to reduce the cost of doing business and improve the business environment. We were modestly successful in making the Ghanaian economy not only one of the most business-friendly economies in Africa, but also one of the fastest-growing economies in the world between 2017 and 2020, averaging 7% GDP annual rates of growth, up from the 3.4% rate we inherited in 2016, the lowest in 2 decades. In spite of upheavals on the global economic terrain, our goal remains constant, and that is to unleash the innovative and entrepreneurial instincts of the Ghanaian private sector to drive rapid growth and job creation. I am confident that we will realize this important goal.
That was President Akufo-Addo. Still at the presidency, the president has reiterated his indifference to calls for the amendment of the 1992 Constitution. There have been agitations in recent times, particularly from civil society organizations, for an amendment of the Constitution which has been in force for 30 years. But I'm speaking on behalf of the president at the 2023 edition of the Gimpa Law Conference, Deputy Attorney General Alfred Chia Yeboah touted the achievement of the Constitution, stating that it has contributed to the stability the country enjoys.
Our Constitution is indeed a living organism which is capable of growth, and grow it must. In the recent past, there have been several calls for the wholesale amendment of our 1992 Constitution from different quarters. It is on record that I am in principle against such wholesale amendments of our Constitution. But that is not in any way a suggestion that our Constitution is perfect. It is perfectly imperfect. And it is through conferences like this that legal and political scholars and other academics and professionals can deliberate on the future of our Constitution and come out with practical proposals. The 1992 Constitution was intended to be enduring and foundational. It was not, however, meant to be immutable. Fellow Ghanaians, in conclusion, my government is committed in ensuring that the value of the peace and stability we have enjoyed in the past 3 decades as a result of the operation of the Constitution is projected in every discourse, policy, and development projects. Because we understand the role of economic growth in our country's democratic progress. Se oman ibeye ya na efriye nara, enti yemoye breye ebeye ya efriye nara.
That was the Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tia Yeboah. Meanwhile, Chairperson of the National Commission on Civic Education, Kathleen Addy, says the country risks being disappointed if it banks its hope on constitutional amendment to solve challenges confronting it.
Our country's economic performance for the last 30 years under democratic rule is vastly superior to the 30 years of largely military rule which preceded it. This is indisputable. That said, it is also indisputable that we live in a time of restlessness and discontent, with a unanimous clamor for constitutional amendments that will ostensibly resolve all our problems. So by all means, let us amend the Constitution if we must. However, let us also make sure that the amendments actually cure the ills we seek to eradicate. We are all keenly aware that many of the problems plaguing our society will not be resolved by constitutional amendments. So, for example, what sorts of constitutional reforms, beyond the plethora of existing laws, will make us more law-abiding citizens? Which constitutional reforms will ensure that people who are already paid to deliver government services do not extort arbitrary fees before providing those services to citizens? Which constitutional reforms will fill our hearts with true humility and make us cherish fearless honesty as prescribed in our national anthem? Truth is, we could set ourselves up for great disappointment if we proceed as if the constitutional reforms will resolve all the pertinent challenges we face as a people.
Kathleen Addy is the chairperson of the National Commission on Civic Education, NCCE.
Thank you very much, Hawa. This is Citi Prime News. My name is Vivian Kai Lokko here with Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. When we come back, MP for Lada Dekotopon calls for structural assessment of abandoned 17-story building at La Beach. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Imagine you had the power to impact the world around you. At the British Council, we see students from all over the globe coming together for equality of education that achieves goals. An IELTS test from the British Council can help you own your future. For a limited time only, when you book IELTS with British Council, you will get our most popular preparation course, Road to IELTS Premium, for free. Valued at $80, Road to IELTS Premium gives you all the material you need to get a great IELTS score. Visit the British Council website today.
Charlie, so the first thing they do when you wake up is check out highlights. And then all you go remember, I for take the kids to school. He left small, you drop the ball, boss. You go fit meet your deadlines without ever missing the game. Now you be true, boss. You then make it to date night on game night, but still they catch the game, right? Hey, Charlie, boss. You they bring you the best leagues for any screen top, wherever you day. From only $59.99 Ghana cedis per month. Live from Super Sport on Showmax Pro. Sign up on showmax.com.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back to Citi Prime News. My name is Vivian Kai Lokko. This afternoon, I'm here with Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Now, a former chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Kwejo Afarijan, has advised the Commission to opt for the guarantor system used by the National Identification Authority rather than discard the guarantor system totally. The Commission is proposing through a new constitutional instrument to make the Ghana card the sole document of identification to get onto the voters' register. This has been criticized by many, with the minority in parliament accusing the EC of scheming to disenfranchise Ghanaians. The Commission has, however, denied these claims, arguing that the decision to rely on the Ghana card solely is because the NIA uses a robust guarantor system. But in a letter made available to the Daily Graphic, Dr. Farijan urged the Electoral Commission to rather include the NIA's guarantor system as part of options for verifying a person's citizenship. Now, the Member of Parliament for the Ladade Kotopong Municipal Ladade Kotopong constituency, Rita Na Odole Soa, is calling for a structural assessment of the abandoned 17-story residential La Towers. The building has been left unattended to after construction stalled some years ago. There's more on this report filed by Victoria Bonto Kodaway and read by Eno Safo.
The 17-story La Beach Towers is located on the La Road in Accra to serve as a beachfront residential property. But several years after construction began, the structure stands uncompleted. The structure is deteriorating and revealing damages caused to the metallic equipment and tools that have badly rusted away. How much of a threat is this abandoned building posing to the communities around it? Building components like iron rods and metals that are exposed to the sea breeze continually wear off and corrode due to the building's proximity to the sea. The situation renders the structure weak and a potential death trap. The Member of Parliament for La Dadekotopong, Rita Na Odole Soa, is calling on the government to, as a matter of urgency, cordon off the area to prevent people from accessing the building, as she believes it can become a den for criminals. She is also calling on government to conduct a structural integrity test of the building.
Before the building can be demolished, like I earlier said, we need to carry out the structural assessments to determine whether that building standing there really has to be demolished. Without that, you cannot just demolish the structure. The permit has expired though, and if the assembly even has to come in, they still have to carry out this process, look for the owners so that the assembly will not be taken on or be taken to court when they do something that they think is in the best interest of the people. So the bottom line is the structural assessment that has to be carried out, and then we see the way forward, whether we have to demolish it or not. As Member of Parliament, I believe it's been a long time, and we have to look out for the owners to ensure that it won't harm lives, if I should put it that way, because nobody is coming up, nobody is completing it. And so what is it standing there for? So I'll support the Assembly in whatever steps has to be taken to make sure that the right thing is done for the good people of Dadekotopong.
Contrary to news reports and rumors that the 17-story La Beach Towers building on the La Road in Accra may not be structurally sound, the La Dadekotopong Municipal Assembly said there was currently no evidence to suggest that the building could collapse. Residents of the La Township who fear the collapse of the building are calling for its demolition. Some of them spoke to Citi News.
We used to hear about some safety issues at the site. It was alleged that one of the workers fell down. Later, we noticed that the workers fell down. We noticed that the workers stopped coming to site. There was also a rumor about the owner of the building having passed on. So far, now the building has no owner. Some bad persons in this area have decided to use the building as a hideout. They do all sort of ungodly things here. The current state of the building is bad. It can collapse on people one of these days.
This building is very, very dangerous because how the building is very, very tall too. Anything can happen to us. Because if the rain fall and the sea started coming outside, the soil, this thing there, how do they call it? The sea breeze. The sea breeze, it will eat under the clay, all will come out. It can for them cause some incidents or accidents here. It is very, very dangerous. So they have to do something about this building. They have to just damage from there. And they should demolish from there. It is very, very dangerous. Because you don't know what will happen. If this building break down, it will kill a lot of people here. It will bring accidents. So
people are saying the person who is building the tower is dead. And up till now, for so many years, he's there. People, we have squatters there who are doing bad things, snatching people's phone early in the morning and late in the night. So there is something they have to do about it. And there is no street light too. It should come to our aid and put street lights. And if maybe they can demolish that thing there, it will be better.
One day wole ba nya happy bon ke be ne kula etinwe finini ha re kula banya achi no ke ba shpon fioni enye ba nwe because sometimes enye wo egbe ebie aget mo wana ke pa afon kere.
So that report was filed by Victoria Bonto Kojawe and read by Eno Safo, bringing an end to Citi Prime News, which came to you live from our studios here at Adabraka in Accra. For more news, log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. My name is Vivian Kai Lokko. I've been here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
We move to the business news desk where Mrs. Ajaho, Natalie Neti Ajaho, has joined us to give us some more details. Natalie, do you want to give us an idea of some of the stories?
Coalition of individual bondholders are giving government a 48-hour ultimatum despite government's assurance that they would pay their bonds.
Okay, so Natalie will be bringing that story and many others. Do stay with us.
Citi 97.3.